So, a couple days ago, this package arrived. I knew it was coming, but anyway, I wanted to share the contents of this package with you. Now, if you look at the side, this might be a dead giveaway for a lot of you YouTube followers. This person here, you may also follow besides myself. Now, if we look here, they stamped each side. I do want to point out that he missed the bottom. Go ahead and open it up here. We've got a piece of paper with the same stamp and a beautiful 628 Dirt Rooster hat. Which I am going to wear for today's video. But in the future, Mr. Randy McGrath, I will not be advertising your channel. But I do want to show some appreciation today and wear it for my video. So hello folks, Jason Chrisman, JC's Bees, Central Ohio beekeeper. Today's video, I want to show you how to install some Rite Cell comb foundation. This is the 8.5 inch foundation for deep frames. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop right in, get started. I don't want to leave this right out in the sun to record for very long. I don't want to melt the wax that's on the foundation. So let's move right in and get started. Okay, so let me give you a quick overview of what we got here. I don't want to leave this stuff out in the sun too long because it will start to melt. You can see the wax is starting to heat up there. What we've got here is some plastic foundation, and this is some of the easiest foundation you will ever install. And I'm going to show you why right now. Let me get this in out of the sun. Okay, we're going to pull a piece of this foundation here out of the box. And this is the Rite Cell comb foundation. It's 8.5 inches wide. It's made specifically for deep frames. Now the frames you need for this foundation are just grooved bottom and grooved top. They do not have the removable wedge at the top of the frame. The first thing we're going to do, and I like to do this, it's not recommended or mandatory, but I do recommend it, and that's snap off these corners, which if you look here you can see they're perforated, so they snap out really easy. Now we're going to take the parts we just snapped and leave that facing towards the bottom of the frame. We're going to set the top down in the groove and then just simply bend the foundation and pry it or push it in, just like so. And you want to verify that it's in the groove all the way, top and the bottom. Done. Very simple. Now you can see why I say this is some of the easiest foundation you will install, because it's very quick to do so. Now I used this foundation last year, but I used the yellow Rite Cell foundation, and although the bees did draw it out very well, the one thing I did not like, I actually hated about it, is since I graft, you can see my grafting stuff set up back there for grafting later today. It's very hard to see the eggs on this yellow foundation. So I ordered the black this time. Now, if we look at the back of the box here, Rite Cell points out how their foundation is thicker than the competitor's brand. And I can say that's probably true. I can tell that just by holding it in my hand and seeing how thick it is. Now, the thickness doesn't necessarily do anything for the bees. It's more for the beekeeper to show how durable and how long this stuff can last. Now, after the bees would draw this out, we'll go ahead and snap in another one, and use it for a few years. You can simply take your hive tool, scratch all the comb off, recoat it with some wax on both sides, and the bees will use it again. So you can use this stuff for years and years, over and over. Well, get that out of my way. And snapped it in, like so, done. So you can throw this stuff in really quick. Now the frames I got here are from Pirco. Pirco makes some really good products too. I have some of their plastic foundation. From experience though, don't want to say anything bad about Pirco, but their wax coating doesn't seem to be as built up as the Cell Rite, or as another brand I'll throw out here is Acorn Foundation. And Acorn will do a double or a triple coating of wax on theirs. So there you go. Really simple way to set up a bunch of frames and get foundation in them with just this plastic foundation. Now I got this from Man Lake, and I got it this week, and I've had several people say, "You ordered from Man Lake? How long did it take you to get your order?" Well, I cheated. You see, I paid the $68 to get my order in 3 days because I've read so many horror stories since this COVID-19 thing started that Man Lake was behind weeks on orders, and I couldn't just take that chance and wait weeks. I'm getting ready to graft, make splits for some of these frames, and start new colonies. And with that, I need to have everything I need, and the foundation was one of them. So yeah, I paid the 3-day shipping. Now, if you've ordered anything from Man Lake here recently and you just had the free shipping, I'd love to hear how long it took to get your order. Now back here, just to point this out here, a follower of mine, Jason Powell, is making these grafting easels, and he's doing a really good job on them. I took the other day and took my torch, scorched it all down. I really like the way it came out. Looks real nice. Did a little bit of tinkering. You know, I thought, well, let's try and put my name up here. I wish I did a little bit neater, but here's what I did. Before I scorched this board, I took one of my wife's fine paint brushes, dipped it in some water, and with the water, I painted JC's bees across there. While the water was still puddled up on the wood, I then torched it, and that's why it did not burn that area. But like I said, I wish I would have did it a little bit neater. Kind of looks like it's just scribbled on there. May end up torching over that, but I was just playing around, see how it worked out. Been watching the bees a lot here the last couple days, watching the pollen come in and watching the bees work. Did a lot of follow a lot of groups, I guess I should say, on Facebook, one of them being the Ohio Beekeepers, and been hearing lots of complaints about how the nectar flow just isn't what it should be for this time of year and up to this point. And I think we got to credit that to the last cold spell that we had. That last cold spell really put a hurt into us. We totally skipped our black locust bloom for the year. I think the locust was just about to bloom, and then that cold snap hit like the 3rd week of May, and when it warmed back up, it's like the trees thought they already had their bloom and just started to leaf out. So you watch all these bees come in. We haven't had rain for a couple days, so the pollen is plenty dry enough that they should be bringing in pollen. But if we look, I'm going to sit down here, there's not really a large abundance of pollen coming in. I see a light brown, which that would probably be off of the Dutch clover. And the Dutch clover is the white clover that grows in your yard usually. I did see some yellow there a second ago. That would be the yellow sweet clover, which is just starting to bloom. There's some of that brown. But I'm not really seeing what I usually see this time of year. Now, if we look up here on this bee's leg, she's got a little bit of yellow on her leg. Let me get her to move down alley here. Now she took flight. So I'm just curious, in your area, what have you seen as far as the nectar flow? Of course, you're going to have to be an experienced beekeeper. You wouldn't have any knowledge of last year if you weren't keeping bees. Going through these nukes the last few days, they do have plenty of nectar stores and capped honey, but I do feel that we are lacking. So I'm kind of curious what you're seeing in your area and where you're located. So if you want to comment on this, maybe leave your area of location. There's some orange pollen on that bee going around the corner. Leave your location in the comments so we can kind of get an idea of where you're at and what you're seeing. Now if we come over here, let me get up, I'll show you new beekeepers what yellow sweet clover looks like. And here it is, yellow sweet clover. This stuff can get anywhere from knee high to nearly 6-7 feet tall. And a lot of this here hasn't bloomed, and I believe that's because it's the white sweet clover. Now the way it usually works is the yellow blooms. About the middle of the bloom on the yellow, the white will start to bloom, and then the yellow will die off and the white will go for another 2 or 3 weeks. That is my experience. So that's the yellow sweet clover right there. Kind of looks like bananas from a distance, just hanging there on the plant, but it's sweet clover. We got bees fine here. Here's my cell starter. And yes, I do have them out flying. I didn't close them in completely. But anyway, so that's what's going on. I got some new foundation. I'm gonna be making splits after these queens that I'm getting ready to graft, emerge into cages, and then I'll add the virgins to the splits. I want to take a minute and thank Mr. Randy McGrath, aka 628 Dirt Rooster, for the very nice hat. I will be wearing it around the neighborhood, around the bee yard, when I go out with the family, but probably going to retire it from the videos because it doesn't make much sense to say 628 Dirt Rooster on JC's Bees channel. But I do appreciate it, Randy, and I really do like the hat, so thank you. Now if you're interested in Dirt Rooster's hat, you have to do a quick Google search on 628 Dirt Rooster and go to his website. And on that site, you'll find his store. And from in his store, you'll find his hat. So if you enjoyed this video, damn deer flies, throw me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. You can see more of my videos. If you do subscribe, make sure you click on that little bell so you can be notified when I release new videos. Thanks for watching JC's Bees, and remember, we're getting ready to start some myth busting the first week of July, so you want to stay tuned for that, and to stay tuned you need to be subscribed. Thanks again, folks.